While I was at work today, I got a phone call from a private number and they left a message. And now I'm really stressed and anxious about it. Yes, so why is that happening? Well, it seems, and I've just realised this recently, that I suffer from chronic PTSD. And that has got me thinking. I also suffer from high anxiety, but the reason I'm talking about this is A, because I think it might help someone, and B, because it happened, so it seemed an appropriate time to do that. Now, before I go on, I'd better stress that I'm not a doctor. I'm just speaking from my own experience here. Yes, thanks for joining me. So what is PTSD? Well, PTSD is trauma caused, that's probably the easiest I've ever got up there, caused by an incident. Of which there can be many causes. One of the most common is something that happens in childhood. But there are wars, massacres, all kinds of things like that will cause it. Even abusive partners, or even partners that are repeatedly lying and manipulating. And then, in my case, an incident happened but what makes it chronic is that when you have something compounding the issue. So without going into any details, I had an incident that happened when I was young, and then there were other incidents of much minor. Something happened to me, the first one, and the others were down to other things that were going on in my family, in my case. So, for example, I spent my childhood, or for about probably 8 to 10 years of my childhood, in an anxious state due to several or certain times of the day. for example, 10 o'clock at night, well, on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Friday was generally okay, and then a lot of little nesting birds, ground nesting birds here, just in there. Or I don't know if they're nesting in the ground, but that's where they just flew up from. I think they might be wrens. And then on a Saturday night, and so for example, you know, I'd hear a sound that would indicate that the weekday evening stress was going to happen, and then it did, and then obviously you then have knock-on effects from your life. So sorry I'm being so vague, but you can imagine. So by time Saturday came, I always wanted to go out and play with my friends. So what would happen is that I'd be okay in the morning because my father took us to the library on Friday, so I had books to read, and then come sort of lunchtime I'd be wanting to go out up to the park and play with my friends. So I'd be in my room, and then I'd pluck up courage to ask my mum, because there's no point asking my dad because he always said, yes, ask your mother first though. So, which I knew she'd always say no. And then me and my brother would just then go and do it anyway. There's a lot of elms along. This is the elm route. These are all elms. Yeah, these are what grow now after the Dutch elm disease, which, just so we can get this in perspective, there is some ash that is dead. So I'd come down after building up courage to ask my mum, and I'd go into the kitchen, and then my courage would dissipate, and I'd go back up the stairs again, and then I'd get even more anxious, and then I'd go and try again, and then get more anxious, go and try again, you know, until eventually I ask, and she either said no, or more rarely yes. But there'd always be, if she said yes, there'd always be conditions attached. Have a look at this. Lovely little ancient Hazel Walk. And then, but of course, the anxiety was because I was also aware that come the evening, 8 o'clock on a Saturday, there would generally be a conflict. My father and mother didn't drink, so you know, you can rule out alcoholics and being drunk and issues associated with that. And look at this. So that compounded the original incident, compounded it for a lot. So I didn't realise, I mean, I'm sure many of my friends didn't really understand, or don't, that my extreme reactions and the states I get into are because I've got extremely high anxiety, as well as chronic PTSD. And now I also have insomnia. Which isn't helping my self-esteem with my eye bags. And here's another lovely witchy grove. And we look back this way. So, why did I film this video? Well, it started, if you remember, with me getting a phone call. Now, coincidentally, that phone call was actually from my mum. But I didn't know that. And she actually wanted to give me some money. So it was for a good thing. But that doesn't take away the stress and the anxiety that I experienced not knowing who that was. There's another hazel grove up there. So if people are watching, if you're watching this and you have unopened mail, or you don't answer the door or the telephone and things like that, it is possible that it's because you've got PTSD. And if you suffer with high anxiety and have a lot more things going on that they call mental health issues, you're probably in trauma from something that happened to you as a child. But not always. It's a lovely view here now. Look at that. Now, I came across something the other day that said pretty much that all mental health issues arise from a childhood trauma. But maybe it's most. So let's have a look at some of the symptoms. Well, there are things like jumping at noises, sudden noises, and I'm going to speak in my own experience as well. Car engines being outside, the noise of cars, the slamming of car doors or the shutting of car doors, the beeping of horns, the ringing of telephones, the beeping of notifications or text messages, not opening your mail, working out, controlling your environment, in order for things, being worried and anxious about stuff, a meeting or something you have to do, or something that's, at some point in the future, filling out a form. All things like that are signs that you're suffering from chronic PTSD or high anxiety. So here's something to soothe that. Another one could be waiting for your neighbours to come in, or stop doing things outside before you go outside and do something like go to your car or do something in your garden or put the bins out. You know, these are all signs of issues. So that's something to think about. So if you're struggling and suffering, try and find some help in some way. Relaxation, do the things that calm you down and take away that stress if you can. Or find something, do something you wouldn't normally do. And maybe, officially you should get in touch with mental health professionals. But I know for a fact, because of something that's happened to one of my relatives recently, they were sectioned, and the doctors said, well, you help us with our numbers and we'll help you. Now that doesn't sound good to me, and I wasn't there, my brother was there and heard it for himself, and he wishes he'd recorded it. So do be careful who you go to for help. Alright, so I really hope this helps somebody, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, check out the links below, donate if you want to, sign up for a walk or a healing session or a tarot reading or anything, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra. Sorry that bit's all rushed, I have to remember it all. It's like my brain is working that fast that I have to speak fast to remember it all. Ta-ra.